Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. We have with us Mr. Anil Sardana. He is the Managing Director of Adani Energy Solutions Limited. Mr. Sardana will be talking to us about the quarterly results and the third quarter earnings as well as their future plans. Welcome to NDTV Profit, Mr. Sardana.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. We saw your earnings today. Quarter on quarter, the company has done extremely well. In fact, other than the EBITDA margin, I think rest everything else looks extremely good. So, can you take our audience through, what could be the driving factors, if you can highlight them, for such good performance quarterly, sequentially?
Yes, indeed. The company's operations and the results thereof are actually a culmination of the transmission business and the distribution business. And in both the businesses, we continue to have a very good glide path for growth, as also very strong pipeline in hand. The distribution business continues to be one of the benchmark ones in India. So much so, last quarter saw us deliver our AT&C losses at 5.46%. So all in all, the growth continues to be great. In fact, while we registered 19% revenue growth, we also registered 10% EBITDA growth. It's basically for the reason that right now we haven't provided for some of the extra numbers and kept a provision till such time that we get a regulatory pronouncement for some of the delays that happened because of the COVID period. All in all, the performance in both the segments has been fabulous. There is a third segment called smart meters, where at this stage, we've been highly successful in terms of orders that we have been able to get. We have in fact captured almost 22% market share amongst 10 participating players. And this will start rolling out in the next 30 to 36 months. And you will find that this will also start contributing to the overall numbers of Adani Energy Solutions Limited.
Right. I will come to smart metering bit a bit later. But we also come to know that you have plans for becoming an integrated player. The way we are seeing that you are into distribution, you are into transmission, you also are there now into smart metering. So, is there any plan for energy storage business, battery storage business that you are planning to look at? And what are the challenges going ahead in that?
Sure. Battery storage as a business has different connotation. Battery storage is used also in electric vehicles. Battery storage is also used at the consumer interface level. Our interest will be to provide battery storage at distribution company level and at the grid level. And we will certainly partake in both of these because this is part and parcel of the business that we do today. So storage battery will be one of the parts of it. And when you alluded to us being integrated, we are integrated in terms of solutioning. As you would have noticed, we changed our name about a year back and called it as Adani Energy Solutions Limited. As the name suggests, we are focusing on end-to-end solutions for customers. So whether it is solutions for large customers in terms of sourcing green electrons on a round-the-clock basis, or a reliability phenomena that they want on guaranteed basis, or something which relates to power quality for specialized electronic units, which do not want to spend paraphernalia on large DG sets or on providing uninterrupted power supply modules. We will provide end-to-end solution on guarantee basis to large customers. So that is what our integration phenomena will show. So learning from our ground level interface of being a distribution player as also the one who is formidable in smart meters, we are integrating energy solutions for customers on round the clock basis as a part of this solutioning concept. That's the USP of Adani Energy Solutions.
Right. You spoke about battery storage, you spoke about distribution also. Right now, we know that Adani Transmission is, Adani Energy Solution is present in Delhi, in Mumbai. As far as distribution is concerned, are there plans for venturing out into some other states and some other locations also that you are looking at?
Yes, under the existing provisions of the law, we have applied for parallel licenses in Navi Mumbai, in Mundra area to expand into some of the Kutch area, as also in the Jewar area of Uttar Pradesh. We are keeping ourselves on readiness to expand into more areas, and it's our belief that in next 6 to 8 months you will see tremendous spurt in this activity on ground, because DISCOMs and the state finances will be under tremendous pressure to manage the bulk supply without being efficient in terms of collection. And therefore, they will allow private sector players to come into the last mile distribution itself.
Right. And as far as your transmission business is concerned, we have seen that interstate there is a lot of development happening. But what would be the drivers for take up intrastate projects, or grow more, to see more kind of more growth in the intrastate side also?
After the central government insisted that states must come out with guidelines with regard to minimum threshold above which they will advertise projects and offer them through tariff-based competitive bidding, many of the key states have already come out with guidelines. So you'll find in next 2 to 3 years, a lot of jobs advertised by states for the intrastate transmission strengthening, because eventually you can carry bulk electrons from large generating spots to large grid substations. But eventually from those substations to neighborhood and eventually to the last mile customer has to be done through sub-transmission system and the distribution system wires. And therefore you will find that the states focus on intrastate strengthening of their system, and a lot of that will be there in the marketplace.
Your transmission business, there has been a lot of growth as far as renewable energy business is concerned from that point of view. So do you also see some other drivers which will contribute to this transmission business going ahead?
The transmission business growth, as I mentioned, will be driven by 3 key aspects. One is, of course, the state has to carry those electrons efficiently to the consumers. So they will put a lot of intra-state transmission system. Number 2, the national grid will see more proportion of renewables coming into picture. And therefore, you will see newer aspects of SATCOMs. These are static converters. You will see storage battery. These are the ones which will enable divisions from schedules to be handled, and you will see advent of high voltage DC. This will enable large corridors to carry power without any problem in terms of losses, etc. And these will be the key drivers from technological standpoint, besides, of course, the fact that we have a backlog of 2 to 3 years because of the issue related to Great Indian Bustard, which now seemingly has been understood by the experts in their analysis, and therefore you will find more lines to be opened up.
Okay. And from your projects which are under construction, how many of those projects we can see getting commissioned this year, in this financial year, and also in FY25? And what will be their contribution towards revenue growth?
No, without giving guidance, there are, of course, few projects that will get commissioned before end of March. But without giving guidance, I would say that the capex number that we have been indicating that we will be able to achieve between 5,000 to 6,000 crore each year will continue this year as well as the next year. That will mean the lines and the distribution system to continue to add capex from growth perspective.
Okay. So coming back to your smart meter business that you were talking about, you have entered into a partnership with Airtel also. Can you talk a little bit on that and how it's going to strengthen your smart metering business?
So smart meter, as the name suggests, is smart enough to generate data. While it generates data, the data has to be communicated, stored, warehoused, retrieved, and analyzed. Now, for all of this, one needs systems at the back end which will enable all of these phenomena to happen. So Airtel is our partner when it comes to meter talking to our servers. Then we have Adani Connects, who's our partner when it comes to data being warehoused and stored in data centers. And we have tied up with SA Soft, which is going to be our partners or a JV company, which will do a lot of work at the back end. Though, of course, jargonized nomenclature could be different, but basically a lot of analytical work, a lot of machine learning, artificial intelligence work will be done on the warehouse data by virtue of this partnership. So we have stitched up all facets to harness the holistic advantage of smart meters. Otherwise, smart meter, if it was only to generate bill, which today a normal electronic meter can do, and that too has the ability to communicate to the backend, one doesn't need to replace those meters with smart meters. The idea of smart meters is to do very deeper analysis in terms of how consumer can get benefited, how the discom can get benefited, how the network could get benefited, and how the sector as a whole could get benefited, besides giving customer the added choices in terms of how they can actually improvise their quality of life imperatives. So that's the holistic meaning of smart meters, and that's what we are going to be engaging with.
Okay. Okay, sir. Just a couple of more questions. One on, given the kind of opportunities we have seen in the distribution space, the TBCB pipeline that we have, and also in smart metering, is there going to be any kind of change as far as the capital allocation is concerned for the company?
As of now, the company has more than 5,100 crore of cash. And therefore, in order to achieve the kind of capex numbers that we have indicated all through, one does not need to change the capital structure. However, one continues to scout for being more competitive, and therefore one has ears to the ground. For example, in the last quarter, you would have seen that we bought back about 100 million plus of AEML bonds because they were prevailing at much higher yield, and that has given us tremendous advantage in terms of having used the cash to buy back those bonds. So we will continue to keep our ears to the ground, make sure that how do we make ourselves nimble and quick to harness advantage that may be possible in the marketplace based on various instruments that are prevailing or various conditions that are in front of us.
Right, right. And given the opportunities that are there in front of us in all the three spaces, what kind of outlook you see for yourself in the remaining quarter, this fourth quarter, and also for the next financial year?
Normally, we refrain from giving guidance except to say that this company, with all the tailwinds that it has behind it and the healthy order book of 18,000 crore in transmission, good headroom in distribution, about 17,000 crore already orders in hand in smart meters, clearly is positioned to deliver robust performance in the times ahead. And that's where I will stop rather than giving specific guidance on numbers.
Right, right. Thank you very much for talking to NDTV Profit. Thank you for spending time for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me over.